Welcome to another episode of Barely Managing, where I showcase the games in a genre that I'm terrible at. I quite like management and Tycoon games. They're fun and relaxing, but I'm also really bad at them. And no exception here with Moon Tycoon, a game that I'd never played or really heard of until Chris F75 told me about it. I actually have a Tycoon compilation CD that has this on it, and I got it on Steam to test how well it works on modern hardware. This game works completely fine in Windows 10, at least on my desktop, but keep in mind that I have a lot of patches and files and all kinds of stuff applied to my machine to make other things work. So one of those methods to get other games working could be contributing to this. But judging by the reviews on the Steam page, I think it runs fine. I will say that $10 regularly priced is a little high for this, a game that came out in 2001. I guess it beats hunting down the CD-ROM. One of the highlights of this game for me is the original soundtrack. I'm mostly referring to the ambient tracks. There is some really techno songs featured in this game, and I'll let you discover those on your own by visiting this playlist on YouTube. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. This is a fantastic upload of all the songs in the game. The track names are made up by the guy who posted this video, and it's because he could not find any information on the soundtrack. And I tried to. I looked everywhere, and there doesn't seem to be any downloads for this game's soundtrack. There's this one track that reminds me of the original Xbox system menu sound stuff. I feel like this is a game that's primed for rose-tinted glasses. This is probably a fantastic nostalgia trip for people who played this, back when it first came out. Kind of like Prison Tycoon is for me. Like, nowadays I recognize that game's absolutely garbage, but there's some merit to enjoying it because of the memories I have with it. Like, sure, that game is 10 times worse than this, but here I'm playing this blind, going into it after playing many other better management and Tycoon games, and this is just boring. Kind of like Prison Tycoon, there's a certain order of buildings you need to build to be successful. It's a little bit more evident in Moon Tycoon because you have to meet certain requirements to unlock other buildings, so it's a very railroaded experience. Not to say that it isn't difficult, because I didn't really get far in free build mode because I kept having issues with resources. You have to build facilities to manufacture clean water and oxygen, and you have to build solar panels to get energy from the sun, and you have to build housing, and you have to keep those people entertained, and you have to deal with tourism, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But there's not much leeway in how you go about things. There's no customization. You have to build where you can, and I guess that's realistic. You have to be strategic about where you build stuff. There is a campaign mode, but usually with these games, I like to just go to free build or sandbox. There's few exceptions to this, so I can't really speak to how well they are, but building in free mode meant that I never saw the natural disasters. Like, I think you can get hit with meteors and stuff like that. It's a decent game. I don't think it's bad at all, just kind of dull. But that OST makes it somewhat of a relaxing experience. I don't know, there's just better alternatives to this. But if you really want this kind of theme, I think this is your best bet. There's not many management games linked to the moon. Not that I can think of or can really find. So if you're into space stuff, and specifically the moon, then this might be something worth checking out. And like I said, this is better than Prison Tycoon. If you got to pick between this and Prison Tycoon, pick this. I mean, it has voice acting in the tutorial and campaign modes. It's a much better game. The OST alone is enough for it to be 10 times better. But yeah, that's this episode of Barely Managing. If you would like to see a management or Tycoon game covered, let me know in the comments below. And remember, we have a Discord, so you can come there and talk to us about management games or whatever you want to talk about. Links to everything in the description below. I will see you all in the next video of whatever that may be.